Fixing Wisconsin's roads, what transportation experts say is driving the problem. Plus, defining Madison, what some residents say makes the city so special. And preparing for the holiday rush, how much lasagna one local restaurant is baking ahead of Christmas Eve. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. As construction prices continue to rise and revenue sources aren't keeping up, some Wisconsin transportation experts say it is time to put more money into fixing and maintaining our roads. The only problem, getting the state legislature to agree on a solution. Braden Ross breaks down a new report from the Wisconsin Policy Forum about where transportation funding in Wisconsin goes from here.
The condition of the roads has some good news. It's improving. The condition of the fund that funds the roads is not so good a news.
For years, funding for Wisconsin roads hasn't matched the money needed to actually keep them in good condition.
We're staring at about $1 billion hole going into the next state budget.
Steve Boss is the executive director of the Wisconsin Transportation Builders Association. He says the problem dates back decades.
In 2005, the state stopped adjusting the gas tax to keep up with inflation. That didn't seem like a big deal then, but it's cost over $3 billion in lost revenue since.
Transportation revenues now, if you adjust for inflation, are less than they were in the late 90s.
For the condition of our roads, that's meant sticking to upkeep rather than big improvements.
We've basically been struggling just to keep our nose open above water. But on the general fund side, we've also seen it taking money away from education, from healthcare, from other general purposes.
So how do we fix it? Well, the solution is probably going to have to come from in there.
We could still use the gas tax as a way to raise transportation revenue if that was the choice that was made. We could use registration fees, that's always an option.
State lawmakers could also pass the burden to local governments that could raise sales taxes or impose wheel taxes, or they could keep taking money from the general fund. But no matter what the solution, Boss says it's clear we need one.
People think about roads in the abstract, but roads really shouldn't be thought of they're the thing that brings you home.
Reporting in Madison, Braden Ross, News 3 Now.
And you can read the Wisconsin Policy Forum's full report on their website, wiscpolicyforum.org. A warm-up on the way ahead of Christmas. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Alex Arrington. More on these mild temperatures to come, Alex.
Yes, Eric, a big warm-up is on the way to southern Wisconsin. It's this warm air that's moving in that helped produce this winter precipitation that we saw across southern Wisconsin today. That slushy snow, a couple inches to the north up towards Juneau, Adams, Marquette, and Green Lake counties, in combination with largely wet pavement that we have here in the far southern part of the state, where we had rain mixed in with a little bit of snow and a little bit of sleet. That could ice up again tonight as we see temperatures go below freezing tonight. So a few slick spots to wake up to. Watch out on the sidewalks and those roads, especially those roads that don't get traveled quite as much, in any of the bridges and overpasses as you continue to travel on Christmas Eve morning. Just a slick spot or two not out of the question. Nothing on Radar 3000. Earlier in our newscast, we had some light snow across parts of southern Wisconsin, still hanging on during the 6 o'clock newscast. And as I mentioned, at 6, that would be out of here and is completely out of here. Not expecting any more precipitation tonight, just temperatures slowly working their way down into the 20s. And there's that warm up after temperatures about where they should be for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Then we go all the way up to 50 degrees by the weekend. And will it have some precipitation associated with it? The chances we'll talk about in just a little bit.
Alex, thank you. A funeral was held this afternoon for Erin Michelle West, the teacher who died in the Abundant Life school shooting. Loved ones gathered at Doxa Church to remember West's life, described by her friends as a light. And now that she's gone, the community is holding on to her brightness.
What was abundantly clear was that Erin loved Jesus. She loved her husband, Jack. She loved her girls, and she loved us and our church family.
And Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes also attended West's funeral today. He says West's legacy won't soon be forgotten.
Anyone associated with that school is really like what we call the salt of the earth. They're the best of the best. They have big hearts. They really believe in service and in community. And so there's going to be some heavy hearts today, and I will be counted among them.
West is survived by her husband and 3 daughters. Well, 1 week ago, that shooting at Abundant Life Christian School publicly redefined Madison for the moment. But now that the national attention is gone and our city is working to heal, our Maddie Hypes is reminding us what makes Madison the place we call home.
If you Google Madison, Wisconsin, one thing will dominate the search results. But for those of us who live here, Madison is so much bigger than a headline.
Madison, Wisconsin.
In Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin. This is unfortunately part of our fabric now.
On December 16th,
A day that will always be etched in the memories of people in Madison.
Madison joined the hundreds of cities who have lost community members in school shootings.
We are one of those statistics now.
And Madisonians felt all eyes on them.
Really, it felt like an actual spotlight casting, I don't know, this sort of like national issue, and then now all these people are gone.
But in just days, the international attention faded, leaving Madison as just another number. So what else makes Madison, Madison? We ask those who know best about the people.
Everybody here is really nice, especially when you're on the street and you smile at somebody, they'll smile back at you.
Lots of our friends are there.
The people are really accepting. Places.
Camp Randall, Old Fashions.
Yeah, the Children's Museum.
The historical buildings that are here.
Going to the zoo.
And things.
Go see what's happening around the Capitol, walk on State Street, go to the games. A lot of energy.
Madison is very welcoming, very diverse.
Jump around.
People are really active.
That make Madison what it is.
We can't let one violent event define us, but we can continue to respond positively and to support our community members. And that should really be the story.
Reporting in Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Janesville police identified the suspect in a shooting last week. Officers say on December 16th, Deontay Foster shot a man on North High Street. That victim currently in critical condition. Police say there's no evidence of a direct threat to the community. Foster's being sought for attempted first-degree intentional homicide. If you know where Foster is, you're asked to contact Janesville police. A Madison man continuing his work in the community to destroy guns and prevent violence that comes from the weapons. Jeff Wild, along with help from several others, brought 8 firearms to the Midvale Community Lutheran Church to destroy them. The action comes just a week after the shooting at Abundant Life, and that student brought 2 guns inside the East Side School, killing a teacher and fellow student. Wild says the guns were surrendered to him Friday to be destroyed, all to take action to prevent further gun violence.
We need to move forward in actually taking actions to reduce gun violence in our communities.
And this is one of those actions.
This is the beginning, one step.
Wild has done similar events like this before. He says the destruction is just his part to get guns out of the hands of people looking to do harm to others or themselves. Accused United Healthcare CEO killer Luigi Mangione back in court today. He had an opportunity to formally address the 11 charges brought by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, including first-degree and second-degree murder charges. Mangione's attorney expressed concern for her client's ability to get a fair trial. The judge insists the trial will be fair and the jury will be selected carefully. Mangione's next day in court's been set for February 21st. A new report details the findings of the House Ethics Committee investigation into former Congressman Matt Gaetz. According to the document, congressional investigators found Gaetz paid numerous women, including a 17-year-old girl, for sex. He's also been found to have purchased and used illegal drugs. Gaetz resigned from Congress in November after President-elect Trump nominated him to be Attorney General. Gaetz denies any improper conduct and says the claims are a smear invented by his political enemies. President Joe Biden takes a large step towards his campaign promise to abolish the federal use of the death penalty. Today, the president giving a reprieve to most federal death row inmates, commuting their sentences to life in prison without the chance of parole. President Biden says he condemns these murders and grieves for the families, but he's more convinced than ever, he says, to stop the use of the death penalty at the federal level. The president has long opposed the death penalty and paused federal executions in 2021.
The president felt it was so important that it was a part of his discussion with the Attorney General when he interviewed him and talked to him about the job.
That soundbite was from 2021. The president also cited the next administration as a reason for moving forward with the commutations. The Trump administration carried out 13 federal executions during the last 6 months of his first term. The Starbucks workers' strike is now expanded to 9 states. The union, representing thousands of baristas, says members in Missouri, New Jersey, and New York began their strike on Sunday. Locations in Colorado, Ohio, and Pennsylvania joined the strike on Saturday, and this follows Friday walkouts in LA, Chicago, and Seattle. The union says Starbucks has failed to meet its demand for immediate and future pay raises. A Madison restaurant prepping for the holiday rush, Gino's Italian Deli on Verona Road, planning to sell 1,000 lasagnas by Christmas Day. Employees and family members have been working around the clock to make the specialty dish. Over the weekend, the restaurant made 200 large pans of meat and 90 small pans just for orders, and there are 400 additional pans sitting on shelves for the big day.
I
I think it's all about the love that goes into it. It's all homemade. I mean, even down to the tomato sauce. Last night I sat here and smashed 30 industrial-sized cans of tomatoes to make our sauce. Every single part of it is homemade. I think that's what makes it so special. Nobody really does that.
Tomorrow, Geno's will be open from 9 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. Well, next at 10, Alex returns. He'll tell us about rain chances later in the week. And a reunion just in time for the holidays, how a national nonprofit brought one veteran's best friend back to the States.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Seasonal illnesses are increasing just ahead of the holiday celebrations, and the CDC is reporting positive flu tests are up 9% in the most recent week, and cases of whooping cough are 6 times last year's rate. Doctors are offering tips on how to avoid getting sick and protect your loved ones this holiday season.
It's sort of common sense guidelines that we've given for all viruses apply this year as well. Keep yourself healthy by washing your hands. Avoid contact if you can with others who are sick, or limit that. If you're sick yourself, then just be aware of protecting those around you. And also be particularly cautious if you're at risk, if you have immunodeficiency, if you're at risk for being particularly susceptible if you do get sick.
Well, the flu season typically runs through April, so health experts recommend you can get your flu shot if you haven't already. And while this time of year can bring joy to many, it can also create a lot of tension. Therapists say handling holiday stress starts with acknowledging it and then address the stress by giving yourself permission to do things differently. Be realistic before adding to your to-do list and allow yourself to say no.
It can be as simple as, thank you so much for the invite. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it this year. And leave it at that.
Therapists say if some of your stress involves being around certain family members, set boundaries. Let them know in advance that controversial topics are off limits and have a plan on how to take a break if you need one. Federal Trade Commission is issuing a warning about gift cards amid the holiday shopping rush. Gift cards are the most popular item on wish list. 53% of shoppers requesting them this year. And the FTC says scammers can get the gift card number and also the PIN even before they're purchased. Financial experts are sharing tips on what to look out for.
If the protective sticker has been removed, if that barcode has been scratched off, really any signs of tampering, go talk to a store manager and frankly, maybe even just go to a second store because we're learning that these scammers can actually tamper in batches. And this is really important because if they have your gift card number, if they have the PIN, they can take all the money that you've loaded on for your loved ones.
FTC recommends shoppers keep all gift card receipts to identify your unique purchase and report fraud as early as possible to the company or to the FTC directly. Well, just in time for the holidays, Paws of War is reuniting a U.S. Army specialist with his best friend. The organization works to bring together members of the military with animals they helped rescue while deployed overseas. The process is complex, involving months of paperwork and planning to secure safe transportation. But with the life of the animal often at risk, Paws of War says it's worth the effort.
I'm very excited. It's been since October. Thought I was going to have to say goodbye to him in Kosovo.
Where's she landing? Where's she landing?
We had specialist Landon Grenade, and he had rescued a dog named Lepo when he was on deployment in Kosovo. And he reached out to us and asked if we could save his dog and get it back to the U.S.
There's a village right outside our camp. When dogs would get really sick, the people would know. They would bring them up to the gate. And Lepo came in with a litter of puppies one day, and it was like this tiny little fur ball. It was the most adorable puppy I've ever seen in my life. And my XO, she was asking for volunteers to come help with the dogs, and I came up there, and that's when the connection started.
He just likes to relax. He's just a chill dude.
All the other puppies, all his little brothers and sisters, they would jump around, claw on you. They loved attention. And Lepo always just was like over there, minded his own business, looking at the sky or laying down like he is right now. And there's like nobody was over there petting him, so I'd go over there, love on him, and you know, he likes the attention, and he's a great dog, and you just eventually just build a little bit of connection. And then with time, it's just, I fell in love with him. That's it, good boy. He remembers some of the things that I taught him, like with the laying and the sitting.
Good boy.
You're out there, away from home, away from friends, away from family. So like, you look to your people to your left and your right, you build connections with them, but there's not like a connection you can really build between a dog and a pan, you know? And I thought I was gonna leave him in Kosovo for the next people to enjoy, but I got to find out. They were like, hey man, if you want to take Lepo home, it's not impossible now.
So we go into a lot of war-torn areas, so getting the animals is difficult. We can have to take a dog or a cat maybe 15 hours to find a veterinarian's office that's qualified.
He's been all over the world. He's been to New York, he's been to, obviously, the Balkans, you know. Now he's here. He has a bunch of farmland. We got some horses, we got some goats, and he has like 3 siblings he's gonna get to meet. And he gets to spend those days with home.
Well, it'll be a fairly warm Christmas this year. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington with more on our seasonable temperatures and rain chances, Alex.
Yes, rain chances going from the cold to the warm. That's why we had the icy conditions this morning throughout the day, especially north of Madison. And by the time we get to Christmas, we're going to get even warmer and even warmer after that. As we transition, though, towards those warmer temperatures, that's what produced the precipitation today. Had some snow across parts of southern Wisconsin. We had wet pavement and rain here in Madison with a little bit of a mix. As we go below freezing tonight, I don't want you again to let your guard down, as I was saying in our earlier newscast. We could still have some slick spots and a few icy spots to develop tonight. Now, right now here in Madison, it's 33, 34 in Middleton, 33 in McFarland, widening out and going to the north here. We're down to 31 up in Marquette and Green Lake counties over towards Juneau, a little bit more mild over towards Prairie du Chien at 35. There'll be a difference in temperatures tonight because some parts of the area have snow and other parts don't. Radar 3000, the snow is gone that we had earlier in our 6 o'clock newscast. And Future Track showing no additional flurries, no additional precipitation tonight, although it will stay cloudy tonight, and clouds will be around for a good portion of the next 10 days. Planning our temperatures tonight, teens to the northeast up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties where they have a deeper snowpack, warmer to the southwest in Platteville where they have very little snow. They got a very little from that Clipper-like system. They'll be near 30, and we'll do 27 here in Madison with cloudy skies, up around 30 for high temperature Madison. See the blue here. Blue colors where they had the heavier snow to the north and east. And then we'll do 33 in Prairie du Chien and 32 in Platteville. So we're starting to warm up, but we'll largely be below freezing for Christmas Eve. Christmas Day will be at 34, and while I've got snow in my snow globe, a shower possibility is not out of the question, especially for areas south of Madison. But you might be wondering, okay, with temperatures 31, then 34, and we have pictures like this from Sherry from Linden Station today, big snowflakes there. And we had snow and ice up towards the Montello area. Thank you, Philip, for sending us this picture. And all you have to do is scan that QR code, and then that links you right up to our photo database where we can show your pictures. But you may be wondering, what is our chance of a white Christmas in southern Wisconsin? 66% of our Christmases in Madison have been white with at least 1 inch of snow at 7 a.m. on Christmas morning. And we have a few inches out there, and I think the chances are pretty good for Madison and areas to the north for a white Christmas. Now, what about the rest of the 3 things you need to get out of our forecast? The holiday week is looking cloudy, warming up this week. By Thursday going through Saturday, we got rain chances in the forecast, not snow chances, rain chances, and good rain chances, at least scattered Thursday, Friday, going on into Saturday as well. And as we roll through the rest of this week, we'll be tracking those weather systems and how much rain we could get. Some are showing pretty decent amounts of rainfall potentially by the time we get to the end of the week, with high temperatures up near 50 degrees and lows in the upper 30s. So the snow that we have out there now, enjoy that white Christmas, because that snow is going to be melting by the end of the week with the rain.
And still to come in sports, the Packers playing the Saints in primetime. We've got the highlights from the frozen tundra next on News 3 Now. It is only week 16, but the path to the playoffs for the Packers is simple. Win tonight against the Saints, and you are postseason bound. Jordan Love, he wasted no time putting the Pack in front, and it all starts with Josh Jacobs. This guy, he runs like he's jousting. Stiff arms the Honey Badger all the way into Lake Michigan, and it would set up this. Jordan Love scanning, looking, and firing a strike to Dontavian Wicks for the touchdown. Green Bay got on the board fast, but they wanted more in the second. And a good recipe for success is always a heavy dose of Jacobs. Josh to the house for his 6th straight game with a rushing touchdown, and the Packers win it 34-0, punching their ticket to the playoffs. And as for next week, the Pack get back on track playing on a Sunday, but the kickoff time was moved back a couple of hours. Instead of playing the Vikings at noon as they were scheduled to, they'll start at 3:25 in Minnesota. It'll be a big one against the Vikings. The Pack are 0-3 against the Lions and Vikings this year and 11-1 against everyone else. After 4 seasons playing for his home state Wisconsin Badgers, former Badger wide receiver Chimere Dike played his 5th and final season of college football at Florida. Today, the Waukesha native announced that he's declaring for the NFL draft. Dike racked up a career-best 783 receiving yards for the Gators this season. Well, it seems the colder it gets outside, the better Nolan Winter gets on the basketball floor. The sophomore forward has taken his game to a new level lately, scoring at least 15 points in each of Wisconsin's last 3 games. It's the jump that Greg Gard believed would happen and is now happening in front of his eyes. This season, the sophomore averages 11 points and 6 rebounds and is only getting better.
And Nolan, I think, is just, I used a phrase earlier this week that he's just been hatched, so to speak. So he's so young in terms of where he can be. And what he can do. I mean, you see at that size and the skill level that he has and the athleticism he has, and he has a motor. I don't know if he realizes how impactful and how good he can be.
And the Bucks down in the Windy City playing the Bulls without Giannis or Dame, which means the role players, they had to step up, and Gary Trent answered that call. Finished with 14 on the night, including this triple. He had a great game this late in the 3rd. And then in the 4th, how about Derry Bird? A.J. Green, known for his three-point shooting, but gets one from inside the stripe. The Bulls lose this one. The Bucks, they take it easily. 112-91 the final, and we'll be right back.
And Alex is back. A lot of folks, you know, they don't wait to leave till Christmas Eve, maybe for family gatherings if they're not traveling too far. How are the roads looking?
Tonight and tomorrow morning still could see a slick spot or two, but alert day conditions, that has since passed. But as temperatures get below freezing tonight, a couple icy spots could still develop, especially areas that got some slushy snow accumulation. We have all this wet pavement out there across much of southern Wisconsin, so a couple icy spots. Don't let your guard down if you're driving. Also, if you're walking your pets in the morning, sidewalks could be a little bit on the icy side as well. But the icy conditions will be a thing in the past. Look at by the time we get past Christmas, be gray but mild, temperatures in the 30s, and highs up near 50, and rain by the end of the week, and lows barely fall below 40 degrees.
Well, there you go. Another wild temperature swings. Thanks for joining us, folks, for News 3 Now at 10. We hope you have a great night.